looks like I'm starting to stream. This is the first time that I've used my Rodecaster video. I'm going to push this down so I don't look at it. For my Rodecaster video, I've got 3 camera setups. I've got the overhead for the delightful cutting. Look at that beaut. And then we have over here, we're cooking, and back to here. So again, this is the Rodecaster. And I can't see, views. So it looks like I have 0 views so far. As this goes. So my picture-in-picture, this is going to show everyone. And then this one, as I'm cooking a little bit, I can show some cutting action or whatever else. And then this is I can cut. And then you can look at my beautiful face and keep on rolling. And here is the other picture-in-picture, a close-up of me with the cooking. And down here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start. So back here, we're going to turn on the triple heat. We're going to get that cooking pretty warm. I'm going Asian style. I guess I should turn off the... I should probably turn off the monitor because I want to look at it. So I'm going to Asian style. I guess I should probably get a few spoons for my this and that. Clickety clackety. Oh, I guess I want to record here as well. There's a little bit, we have a concurrent viewer. So I'm in OBS, I can't see who you are. So sorry. Thank you though, man. I'm going to cook some dynamite stuff. I've got some leftovers and we're going to make some Asian kind of inspired items. So this one is actually a green bean thread. We can go over. So the green bean thread is a lot like the rice noodles. But this one, it cooks super fast. I want to start, I can feel the heat already starting over here. So the base is going to be coconut milk. I want to give it a shake. The coconut milk is going to really be the base of everything. And as you know, I'm feeding 2 people and I always love extras. So I'm going to go a little bit heavy. That was about 3/4 of the whatever that's called, bucket, if you will. So first I'm going to start out. I'm going to make the sauce for the pasta. So I have 2 different pastas. I've got this one, the rice noodles, and then as I said before, I've got the green bean threads. I'm going to add the kombu. The kombu is a seaweed, and there we go. So the kombu is going to go in. I'm going to put a little bit of the fish flakes, the bonito flakes in. So that's going to help season right away. We're going to wait until we see a little bit of movement on those. I'm going to go ahead and cut Mr. Onion. Chop, chop, chop. This one is a global knife. Man, I just opened it out of the package and she is sharp. I'm going to note that to make sure I don't feed blood to anyone. Yeah. I'm probably only going to use half. And as far as the size, It can be large, it can be small. This one's a little bit more of a medium dice. All of that's going to go in. I'm a little bit light on garlic. Garlic's one of the things that I would typically put in several cloves, if not a dozen, fresh garlics. But like I said, I don't have it. I have not been doing a whole bunch of cooking at home. So with this one, we're going to go in with, let's see if we get some focus. Oh, it's trying a little bit further. There we go. That's the miso. Miso's going in. The miso has a heavy salt content. So we want to make sure that we don't over salt the dish. Now this much isn't going to be enough to over salt it, so I'm not worried about that. But it's one thing that we have to think of, because not only does the miso, the fermented bean paste, have salt, a heavy salt content. This one's soy sauce. This one is the mushroom soy sauce. The mushroom soy is one of my favorites. It's natural, gluten-free. This stuff is so good, man. It's a little bit lighter in taste, pardon me. And let's give it a little stir over here. So we're heating up slowly, but we'll get there, don't you worry. I'll leave my little wooden spoon in. So also I've got some oyster sauce. Oyster sauce is going to, be another, salty component, and it's going to give some great flavor. I'm not going to add a whole bunch of the oyster sauce, but a couple little dollops. This one's a pretty good brand. This one is gluten-free as well. It's kind of hard sometimes to find the gluten-free oyster sauce, but that's what it looks like if you're interested. So I've already got meat cooked off. Like I said, this is part of the leftover episode. This is me checking my leftovers out in the kitchen. I've got some mashed potatoes, probably won't use that. I've got a little bit of beef, kind of the bulgogi. I've got chicken nuggets, which would be fine. I've got meatballs, chicken meatballs, which would be fine. I've got some broccoli, again, already cooked, gnocchi, and some diced steak, which would be nice, but I'm giving that to Blue because Blue likes to eat too. I guess I could have had that on my, this one is fennel. My favorite spice of all times is cardamom, but I don't know where the cardamom is. So funny that I lost my absolute favorite spice that I put in nearly everything. So far we've got the coconut milk, we've got the mushroom soy sauce, sesame oil is going in, but I've got the miso, I've got the bonito flakes, I've got the kombu, so far, the onion. So yeah, we're just going to let this kind of come to a simmer. So here, I'm going to add a little bit of this. That one is the liquid smoke, so I'm not going to add much. Just a little bit of the smoke. A little goes a long way. Really, I mean, it's going to give a little smoky. It's not going to seem like it's a barbecue or a barbecue sauce, but it gives it another depth of flavor, which is so freaking good. So I'm going to turn this up to full blast. I was sort of wishing to see some simmering there by now, but I'm not. Yeah, I guess I can put the meat in. So the meat is here. It's shaved prime rib, marinated in bulgogi, and then we hit it on the flat top. But that one is going to go in as well. I'm going to put everybody in. Try not to get a big splash. The broccoli I'm not going to put in until the very end. So here we're actually finally getting some simmering. So right now, you know, the soy sauce has flavor, the coconut has flavor, the miso has flavor. I am going to go in with a little bit of the sesame oil. That's got flavor. So a lot of these components are already flavorful. So I'm not, you know, worried about salt yet, because it's very easy to oversalt with all of these items that are, one, fermented for dynamite flavor. Yeah, we're not worried about salt right there. So I am hitting the simmer. So the kombu I will remove. When it's about time to eat, I'll yank that out because no one's going to be happy eating kombu. So we've got the rice noodles, a little bit of those are going in, the rice macaroni, and then those. All right, so now we're actually cooking here. This is going to be good. So the pasta is going to cook right in the coconut, so there's no reason to cook it, strain it, and then put it back in. And then these bad boys, the green bean threads, those are going to go in towards the end. They'll take 1, 2, maybe 3 minutes. And sometimes I really will kind of soak those. Actually, I will soak those in a little bit of cold water. Just for a little bit. It helps the final cooking process out. Makes it a little bit faster to let those hydrate for a couple minutes. So we already have a raging boil. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. Man, that already smells so good. So the beef, right, had plenty of flavor. Everybody else has got great stuff going on. I've got some fresh basil outside. I may grab a little bit of the fresh basil, chop that up, throw it in at the end. I'm trying to think if I see anything that I haven't used yet that I wanted to. I think we're looking pretty stellar. But the pasta is going to take, you know, maybe 10 minutes. One thing that I want to watch out for is evaporation. And as that dry pasta soaks up the liquid, between evaporation and the soaking up, I may need to add some water or more coconut to make sure that it's not pasty garbage. So to recap, we have the coconut milk, we've got a little soy sauce, the mushroom soy sauce, we've got the miso, fermented bean paste, a little bit of the oyster sauce, dynamite flavor, there's an onion. Typically there's going to be fresh garlic in there, but there's not. In this one, I don't have any fresh garlic. The bonito flakes, the dried tuna, and then I'm going to turn this down here. There is a good thing with, you know, some nice heat, but there's also such thing as too much heat. So I want to keep this now, since the pasta's in, at a kind of a lighter simmer. I definitely do need to see some movement. We're not trying to poach the pasta. The broccoli is going to go in at the end. So here, ooh, there we go, Mr. Broccoli over there. Kombu will be coming out. So I am going to give it another taste real quick to see how the flavors are coming around. Flavors, holy smokes, that is not going to disappoint. Whoa! So as you know, the coconut's got a little sweetness to it. We have the savory from all of the fermentation. The miso's been fermented, the soy sauce has been fermented. One thing, it's good to know that, you know, before soy sauce there was miso. Miso is the soybeans that have been fermented and then ground into a paste. So they would use that first, and then they would taste the liquid like, I'm sure we could do something with this liquid, let's call it soy sauce. And it was born. I'm going to go in with a smidge more of the sesame oil. not a whole bunch, and I've got some sesame. So I'm slowed down on the simmer, which is good. Sesame seeds is what I was going to say. I've got sesame seeds. Whoa, there we are. Sesame seeds toasted. So our simmering is still there. It's died down. We can see that some of that liquid is being absorbed into the pasta, but I'm going to turn this up because, yeah, it's slowing down a little bit too much. Again, I'm not trying to poach the pasta as it's being cooked. The broccoli will go in probably about the same time as I add the green bean threads. So the green bean threads, that's kind of the look right here. So they have some length to them, but sometimes, man, these threads can be so long. So that's really where we're at. We're going to give this a little bit of a simmer. We're going to kind of clean up my little area. I've got my bowls to the side, and you may be thinking, how come he's doing two pastas, right? The rice, macaroni, that's a pasta, of course, and then the green bean threads, that's a pasta. The textures, and I will say the rice sticks, or the rice cakes, those, like, they're super dense, but adding the threads to that denseness, man, that's a recipe for awesome. So back to cleaning up a little bit. Checking, so I can try one of the noodles. Quite sure it's still crunchy, but here's what it looks like. Yeah, pretty crunchy. So now, as I'm doing my recipe-free cooking, I'm looking at how much liquid is left in this little mix here, because that's going to tell us how long it's going to take, or if the pasta can absorb. Because sometimes if the liquid is too thick, the pasta is going to have a really hard time. So then we would add a little bit of water, but I'm going to not add water yet. I may need it for those threads. I may have to kind of shrink up the threads from my 3 little partials to 1 or 2, or just add a little bit of this water that it's been soaking in. Smells good. So yeah, this simmer right here is what we're gonna kind of stay at this rest of the time. And I've got my, this is a wok that is non-stick, so I'm using my wood to make sure that I don't scratch the bottom. But because it's so thick, I'm going to continuously stir, because the stuff on the top, it's not really submerged in that liquid, you can see. So it's going to be a while for it to cook. So we're just going to stir and move and smell, and maybe I'll get a taste in every once in a while. So to finish this off, I'm going to hit it with the other bonito flakes, and then I'm going to hit it with some of those toasted sesame. And I tell you what, I may go in with some of I already forgot what it is. Oh, some of the sesame oil too. So the bonito, the sesame seeds, and the sesame flakes. The fresh basil. I may or may not hook up the fresh basil. Cilantro would always be, actually I'm not sure, we may have cilantro. Grapes and asparagus. I don't think I want to put asparagus in. Asparagus would work in this dish, however, well, it's more that I have just enough asparagus for something else. So I'll do another video with the other asparagus, and it was fresh grown, fresh picked asparagus from my mother's house. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We're at the weight gain on cooking the pasta. We're back to seeing a little bit of that liquid depletion. I'll check one of the pastas. Yeah. It's better. It's a little along the, a little too al dente to be al dente, so it's almost right there. Because of that, I'm going to add our green bean threads, and I'm not going to worry about draining that water because, as I said earlier, that water is actually going to help us out because through reduction and through absorbing into that rice macaroni, we don't have a whole bunch of liquid, which is fine. I'm not trying to water it down, I'm just trying to properly cook the pasta. So we can see that, yeah, we're pretty thick, which again is totally fine. This is going to be more of a, you know, pasta sauce as opposed to pasta in broth, which is what I'm looking for. So because the threads went in, the noodles are going to, you know, cool down the temperature. So I'm looking, I may put a smidge, a little splash of water, not a lot. That's probably quite enough. And since those bean threads are in, I'm going to put in the broccoli. Again, that broccoli was already cooked, so it just needs to reheat. And it was very, very lightly seasoned, if not seasoned at all. It wasn't very noticeable. So I'm not worried about over seasoning my ingredients because of the addition of the pre-cooked broccoli. If it was heavily salted, of course, we could have some issues. Some little possibilities of something we don't want to do. So I have my bowls. I'm thinking that we're pretty close. That's my dog, Blue. What's up, Blue? There we go. Let's come back over here. As you can see, I think that the little green bean threads are getting limp, meaning they're cooking, and a lot of that liquid is gone. So now I really would think about adding some more coconut milk and or some of that water. I'm going to go in with a little bit of that water. Again, not a lot. I want to keep that sauce consistency as opposed to the broth. And then I'm going to taste it. Because after I taste it, if it seems like it's missing something, this is the time to add it. I can still add some coconut milk. I can add, you know, wide open. So that right there, I just tasted the broccoli, and the broccoli was telling me that I didn't have much season. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of salt. I think I may go in, probably not the miso because I'm already so dense. I would dilute the miso with the soy sauce or some sort of liquid so it dispersed evenly. It didn't just stay in a brick in someone's mouth. A little miso brick in the mouth does the body good. All right, so this one, you can see, I think it's a little bit more saucy. We're gonna check the seasoning again. If you ever saw the ratatouille that little cartoon movie. One of the greatest things that they do is in the cartoons, man, they have the chefs and cooks cooking and tasting. I've not counted how many times they taste, but if you're in the kitchen, it's important to taste, because if you don't taste, you don't know. There we go. I want to see how those, I got some of the macaroni. I want to try some of the other, those bad boys, see how those are doing. Done. Man, oh man. Don't forget to shut your oven off. Now we're going to dish it up. Looks like a sloppy dish up to me. I'm sure I'm sorry to someone out there who cares how pristine my plate up is. Don't forget the broccoli. That's right. All right. Now we're going to go in with Mr. Fork. And then we're going to think, oh my gosh, how awesome is this? So here is what it looks like. Let me come up here so we can see that, yeah, it looks quite tasty. Here's the taste test. So the coconut, an easy word to say is curry, but it's not a curry. But the coconut sauced double pasta, leftover Sunday dish, meal. I'll tell you what, it's got the sweetness, it's got the savoriness. You know what it doesn't have though? It doesn't have the liquid hellfire. Everything needs a little bit of heat, right? Ice cream, Snickers bars. There we go, the real test. Superb. I forgot I was talking about doing some garnish. So the bonito flakes, the sesame seeds, a little of that sesame oil. Man, oh man. Rock it out. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of these lives down the road. We're going to talk a lot of theory, a lot of technique, and then because when you know how to cook, when you know the technique involved, how to master it, then you can put nearly anything you want together, and that's what it's all about, man. It's not always about recipes. It's about seeing what you have and making it taste dynamite. Peace.